typically with the way in which we start these is like I'll do like this is Zander Torres, and this is what he's done in this, and I'm like, I could go all this route, or we could just start talking about the shit that we really care about, and then we just start going.
Yeah, we just flow with it. Yeah.
So I did want to say I always start this off by saying kind of how we met and the way we met. And this has been such a cool experience through my Origin series, and is all this community that I'm building around this series has been one of the coolest things, that a byproduct of this amazing thing. And so I think probably around episode 3 or 4, I got somebody who kept liking my stuff, and then I got somebody that DM'd me and said, "Yo, your shit's rad. I really appreciate you." And then we just started chatting, and then it ended up, it was you.
Yeah.
And so fast forward, I'm looking at Instagram, I'm scrolling, and I keep seeing this kid popping up. And you were doing at the time, I don't know if they're still on your Instagram, but you were almost doing monologue type stuff by yourself with your phone in black and white, kind of, and just kind of sketching and writing and just putting it out there. And every time, I'm friends with a lot of people, I'll scroll and I'll see stuff like that, and it comes across as cheesy or overly trying or just not engaging. But every time I'm scrolling, I stop and I'm like, man, this kid has something. I keep saying kid, but like, you just had something that kept me watching your shit. And I'm like, you're just with the camera, your own phone, and you're just doing it. Yeah, and it was something simple, so captivating about what you're doing. And then I look up your IMDb, and you're just getting your game going.
Yeah. And
to see somebody whose IMDb isn't as long as everybody else, who has these kind of chops, I don't know what teaching you've had, I don't know anything about you.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing this raw talent coming forward, and I'm like, I'm getting the chills. I'm like, this kid is amazing, and I kind of want to know this guy. And so,
damn, that means a lot.
Yeah, man. And so we did a short film recently that I directed, and I had you in, and it was a very minor role. It was not even a speaking line role. It was just more of an action piece of a recreation. And, anybody who took that could have easily come in and just clocked in, did their thing, clocked out. But what you brought to that small 30-second clip really impressed me, and really, from someone who's just getting their wheels going as a director in narrative, looking at what you brought is the type of people that I want to work with. And I just want to say I commend you for doing your journey, for putting yourself out there, and just being a dude who shows up and does what it takes. And I really, really respect the hell out of that. And I'm just getting to know you, and I already have this connection with you. And so I just want to say, thank you for coming on the show.
Well, thank you for having me, and for saying all that. That really means a lot to me.
Yeah, man.
That you could see that and notice that, because that's one thing that I'm always like, am I doing enough? Like, am I present with what I'm doing? And like, because I've always kind of been a firm believer of, no matter how small or big the thing is, I'm gonna be fucking locked in and just go all the way until they're like, okay, we got it. You don't have to. You're good. And I knew with this thing, even though you told me, hey, it's a smaller thing, like, you don't need to be, I was already like, okay, who is this guy? What's the backstory here? What's this? What's that? Like, what kind of like music does he listen to? What's he eat in the morning? His regimen, just so I could, when I got there, it was less about, okay, Zander, we're going to shoot the scene, and more about like, I already know, like, I'm here. Let roll the camera. I'm good. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what I was trying to embody with that character, young Alex, and I was just super excited to work with you because I had seen your, previous work and everything, and I was like, okay, here's my shot, don't fuck it up, so that was the mindset that I had going into that.
And it shows like, even those small clips that I'm seeing on Instagram, that you're really putting forth the energy. And one of the main reasons I wanted to bring you on as well is because we are in a place right now in the industry where it's not the same as it used to be 10 years ago, 15 years ago, where you can come in, be an actor, get an agent, or sign up for, I even did this back 20 years ago, where you can sign up as an agent with an agency and just get placed on commercials or small background roles. And then you get into a casting, and then you're reading lines in front of the directors, like From my understanding, all this shit is not going down anymore. This is not how it is anymore.
Sometimes you get called in person. Like I did a Starbucks thing that was in person in Santa Monica. And that was fucking, I mean, I thought I had it. I got the call back. And then as I was on my way there, they were like, we changed our mind. And I was like, how the fuck are you going to change your mind just like that when I'm like, you already told me to come in, but whatever, that's a separate thing. But a lot of the auditioning process nowadays is self-tapes. So they'll be like, hey, here's the breakdown, the sides, the character description, if you're lucky, you know, and then you send that in. But the advantage with that, I would say, is like, for me, I feel like I would like to do in-person stuff because I feel like I can charm the people that are in the room, just walk in and be myself and be like, hey, what's going on? Shake hands, do the whole thing. But with the self-tape, you lose that kind of edge. And then you start getting in your head, okay, 3 takes. Maybe I should do 4. No, let me do 5 and then let me do this. No, maybe it was the second one. Maybe the second one was good. You know, so you start like, but that's why it's really important to have good people around you to kind of help you kind of, hey, you know, maybe I think you got it on the second one, bro. You don't need to do it. If you want to do a third one for safety, go ahead. And that's what my homies that I live with, they're both actors, Shane and Gabriel, they help me all the time. Like they will tell me if I'm fucking up. They're like, you did not give your all on that first take. You need to do another one. The line was actually this. And then I'll be like, you know, cause I'm like, I don't give a fuck about the lines, man. Like was I connected to what I was reading and all that? They're like, yeah, but like it's important for you to say this line because it carries the scene. So things like that are really important to have those people to kind of help guide you, you know?
And so then also you're not getting notes from the director or even the casting, because like that's also a big thing when I'm talking to different actors, you know, when they're telling me how it used to be. You would go in, you'd read it, and then you would ask for notes, and then the director would say, oh, maybe play it a little less this. Like, you don't have that.
Yeah.
You're literally just reading a piece of paper, trying to imagine what they want, and then trying to deliver that, and then sending it in and then hoping and praying that you get the part.
Yeah.
How difficult it's insane.
Yeah, because you have to be, and all the young aspiring actors and people that are in the game right now know this, you have to be the costume designer, the producer, the director, the actor, and, you know, a script supervisor. You got to do all that for yourself. But that goes into what I was saying about having your friends there to be like, hey, I'll help you. You know, because I don't own a suit. I don't really own nice clothing like that. So I'll be like, Gabe, can I borrow your suit to shoot this audition? I'm supposed to be playing this like put together guy. And he's like, yeah. And then they help you with that. And they kind of keep you on track of what they think the character and what you think as well, because it's a collaborative process. You know, it's like, I think it's this direction, or I think that was good, but you need to lean into this more. You know, so that stuff is like super key for that.
And so, do you have a manager or an agent?
Yes, I do. Shout out to Ron Williams. I think he's the hardest working fucking manager in Hollywood. This guy is insane. Like, he's on his phone 24/7. He's like this with his phone, and then he's like this with his computer, like doing the breakdowns. He has this thing that he does, and this will be super helpful for people to hear because they can do it themselves. They don't need a manager to do this. A pitch package. So for you, Billy, you're auditioning for the role of young Anakin Skywalker or whatever. Why are you fit to play that role? You go in, and you can use ChatGPT for this because there's an advantage there. Yo, I think I'm fit for this role because boom, 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 boom. Then you would send that in an email format, send it out, and they're like, holy shit, I think he is. Like his accolades, his attitude, his demeanor, how he looks, all those things, and it helps. I got my foot in the door multiple times with a very well-known casting director who casts Bosch, Start of Watch, Prison Break, all that stuff. And that was, he just kept sending him stuff of me, clips like I was posting on Instagram. And he's like, who the fuck is this Zander Torres guy, dude? He keeps coming up on my thing. Finally, he responds, and he's like, hey, Ron, I think Xander's a great actor, but he's not fit for this role. They were casting this thing called Winthrop. I don't even know if it got made or whatever, but it was through Warner Brothers. And Ron kept trying to submit me for it because he just believed in me. He's like, I don't even care if you're not the character description, but we're going to keep submitting you and submitting. Finally, he said what he said. He's like, he's great. When something comes down the pipeline, we'll be in touch. You know what I did? I took that email that he said that I was a great actor. I printed that shit out and I put it on my fucking wall. Because I was like, I'm going to look at this every morning when I get ready as like gas in my tank, you know? Because he's a well-known casting director. So I'm like, I need that. You know, it's no longer in myself. I believe in myself, but the external thing to hear that is like, oh, okay, just keep going. Don't give up. You know what I mean? So Yeah.
And so a lot of what you're doing is a lot of self-starting. I mean, it helps to have an agent manager who's doing the legwork, because that is not very common. A lot of people that I talk to now are just like, even, or people that are Emmy Award winners or Peabody winners, they're like, my agent doesn't do shit for me. My agent doesn't do any. I'm out doing all my own shit, and then my agent just takes a 10% cut. So, shout out to your manager agent who is doing that.
Yeah.
But a lot of it, from what I'm hearing, is a lot of self-starting. You almost have to think of yourself as a small business. So you have to market yourself. You have to develop yourself. You have to do the reps. You have to work on your look. Are you going to acting school, or how is that going?
Yeah, so I currently, at the moment, I'm not, just because I've kind of fallen on tough times, and acting class isn't fucking free. It's like where I was going, it was like $250 a month. I was training at the Ivana Chubbuck studio. She trains like Aubrey Plaza, Ryan Gosling, I think. She coached Shia LaBeouf at one point. Like, she works with a lot of people. But the main thing was, when I moved here like 3 or 4 years ago, I was like, shit, like acting class, because I was working with a coach privately. So I was like, I don't know, do I want to go to an acting class? Like, not that I thought I was better than it, but I was like, I don't know, maybe it's a good opportunity to meet people. And then I had this friend who was a director. He was already established, Gabe Torres, same last name as me, who was already down here. He said, I want to meet you for coffee. I want to go over a few things with you and kind of guide you in the right direction, so you don't start doing shit over here and lose the sight, So I was like, okay, so we meet for coffee, and he's like, he gives me a list of all these like acting classes, like Ivana Chubbuck, Howard Fine, I forget the other ones, but a whole bunch of them. I'm like, okay. And for some reason, the Ivana Chubbuck one stood out to me, and I chose to do that. And I'm so happy that I made that decision, because I have made lifelong friends and brothers and just family by going there. And I don't even go there anymore. I haven't been there for like 2 or 3 years. But that's where I trained for like 2 years. And I trained under, it's Ivana's studio, but she has like other people there teaching the technique, the 12-step technique. And I trained under Kian Moore and Alex Popovich. And I thank them so much, because I had a basis of where I was, but they helped me expand my potential as an actor by going there, and they believed in me, so.
And so when did your love, or the idea to become an actor, when did this start for you? Was it childhood? Did you do plays at school, or when did that all begin for you?
I honestly, I don't want to like jump around, but with that, I was going to join the Marine Corps. That was my plan. I was like, fuck, I didn't even think about acting. I was like, whatever, this was high school. I got type 1 diabetes, so I couldn't join. So they were like, get fucked. You can't join. So I was like, fuck. But I remember I did the video bulletin in high school, which is where we would be like news anchors, and be there. Good morning, Windsor High School, and do the whole thing. And we would make skits. Like, we did an Office-themed episode. We did Weatherman skits and the whole thing. And I remember my teacher, Mr. K, you've seen Good Will Hunting, the scene with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. He called me out of class one day. It was like a little bit before graduation. And he's like, can I see you outside? And I'm like, okay, yeah. So we go outside, and he's like, so you want to join the Marines? And I'm like, yeah, like I told you that, like. And he's like, okay. Have you ever thought about doing anything in the arts, like acting, a radio host, or anything like that, theater, whatever? And I'm like, no, dude, like, why the fuck would I do that? I told you what I wanted to do. I was starting to get annoyed, because I was like, are you not hearing me? And he's like, I got to tell you something. I have never told any student this before. I would never do this, but I think you have the potential. If you lock in on one of those things, you can do it. So you better fucking do it. And I swear to God, if you're still here in 5 years, I'm going to find you and I'm going to kick your ass. He threatened me, but with positive reinforcement. I was like, holy shit, because Mr. K was the guy who never cussed. He was so well-spoken,
This is your senior year high school?
Yeah, senior year. And I'm like, holy shit, like, he's not fucking around, man. So I forgot about that. I ended up working as a butcher for like 5 years. That's what I did before I made the jump to acting. And his voice like echoed in my head, like, don't give up, don't quit. And he would come in sometimes and buy a steak, but he wasn't there to buy a steak. He was there to be like, motherfucker, you didn't do it yet.
Really?
You didn't do it. And I was like, damn. So finally he came in one day and we talked again, and he's like, come on.
Wow.
And then eventually I made the steps towards that to do that.
And so, from my understanding, you were in Santa Rosa at this point?
Yeah.
So, like, you weren't even, at any point, LA wasn't a thing, filmmaking wasn't a thing?
Nope.
It was just a natural act to be an actor.
Yeah.
your teacher, professor sees that you are naturally inclined at this, and then is now following up with you as you're working at a butcher shop
like
in Santa Rosa.
Yeah, it was Windsor, which is like a town over, but he would come in and just like check in on me. And I'm kind of glad he did, because I'll be real, if he never said that to me, I would have never thought that I was capable of such thing, because as a kid, I was always like the performer dude, like trying to entertain people, like class clown kind of thing. But I never thought I could like actually do that as a thing, which a lot of people I feel like fall into that same pattern. And I just got complacent for a while. I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to work here. This will be my life. One of the guys I worked with, he goes, so what's your plan? I go, I'm going to work here, and I'm going to, do some other stuff. I'm like 23 at the time or whatever, so I'm not thinking down the road. He's like, no. You're going to be 30 years old. You're going to have 2 kids. You're going to be working here. I'm going to see you every morning. And that lit a fucking fire in me. And I was like, I didn't even verbally tell him that. I kind of digested it, and I was like, motherfucker, you watch, because that's not going to be me. No disrespect to people that does become their life, but I knew there was more for me out there. So I was like, that's not going to be me.
And so as a kid, were you into films? Like, what was your favorite films growing up? Were you totally a film?
A little bit, yeah. So my mom, like you mentioned horror before we started rolling, my mom was like a big like Halloween, Rob Zombie, like classic like John Carpenter films. And so I would watch a lot of movies with her. So I really have my mom to thank for like getting me into movies. And then she would always talk about actors, and I didn't really know their names, but I knew their faces. And then I got older and I was like, oh, that's so-and-so, or that's DiCaprio or whatever. And then you just start like developing this kind of like love for the thing. So I've always appreciated. I didn't get until like film nerd status until later, where I started remembering directors and all that and styles of movies. But yeah, I've always loved it.
And so when did the idea come to say, hey, I'm gonna give up living up in Santa Rosa area, I'm gonna move down to LA to be an actor?
Oh. So with that, so I had mentioned I studied at Ivana Chubbuck, but before that was even a thing and I was still in Santa Rosa, I was meeting with an acting coach, Gary Imhoff, privately over Zoom. He'd be like, hey, Zander, today we're going to do this exercise. We're going to read monologues, whatever. I'd pay him like $200 per Zoom. Like, I had to get that butcher money paid well. And I left all that behind because I was like, fuck, I don't care about money. But I'd pay him, do the thing. And I was like basically ramping up to be able to make the leap from working at the butcher shop, doing that, to move to LA, to have enough to put down for my security deposit on my apartment, where I eventually moved in East LA, and start a life there and just completely start over. So once I had enough saved up, I think I had like, it wasn't that much, it was like maybe like $6,000, and I had established an apartment with my buddy that I was gonna live with. I was like, okay, now's the hard part. Now I have to walk in and leave and tell my boss, hey, this is what I'm doing. And I remember I told my manager at the time, Jenny, and then the head guy who managed all the departments, Todd, and I go, yeah, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to leave in next month. And they're like, that's what you want to do? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. He's like, you ever seen Entourage? He's like, is that what your life is going to be like? I'm like, I don't know. That would be really cool if it was that. Yeah, and I'll never forget. He's like from Kansas. He's very like blue collar, like man of few words. And he goes, he holds his hand out. He shakes my hand. He's like, if you're going to do it, go all the way. Go all the way. And I needed that reinforcement, because he could have torn me down right there. It's a pipe dream. You're never going to fucking do it.
And you're already maybe having doubts about uprooting your entire life to move it to some,
Yeah. And telling my parents wasn't it, because my mom and dad, like, they're not together, but I remember I was telling them separately, and I was like, Mom, I want to do this. And she was like, oh, okay.
Wow.
Like, I believe in you. She knew. She's like, you're so, like, I don't want to say stubborn, but, like, so locked in on something. If you want to do it, she didn't doubt me. She was like, just make sure you're really serious about this. And my dad was more like, I can't talk you out of it. I'm sad to see you go, but if that's what you want to do, go for it.
And that's beautiful, because a lot of parents, especially if they've never known, if we're in LA, it's so your proxy to people that are actors or directors or have made it in the film industry. I was from San Jose, and telling my parents, hey, I want to be a filmmaker. They're like, nobody by proxy has ever been a filmmaker. So it's really amazing that you have that support from your family to say go out and do it, because a lot of people, even that grow up here, don't have that. And I think having that to ability to now leap off, that's all you could really ask for, right?
Yeah, I took it and ran with it. And I knew in my heart, I was like, even if my mom or my dad disapprove, honestly, I don't give a fuck. I'm still going to do what I want to do, you know? So it was like, you guys can like it or hate it, but I'm still going to do it. And my mom knew that. And I get that kind of like outlaw kind of spirit from her. So I was like, I'm doing it. Okay, all right.
And so you get down to LA, and I mean, it's like, I don't know if you've seen In Law, is it In Law? Pauly Shore.
He's so funny.
Where he goes to the Midwest and he steps off the bus, LA kid in Midwest, and it's like this big record scratch. I imagine this moment where it's like you're coming down here. This is such a big pool. This isn't like big fish, little. This is an ocean. LA is the ocean.
Yeah.
Tell me about you get here and what are your first steps in trying to establish yourself as an actor?
Yeah, so I had got here like 2 weeks earlier than my lease was good for, so I had to sleep on buddies' couches and do all that. But for me, honestly, it was kind of like a therapeutic, like pivotal moment because I rode my Harley down here. I took a backpack full of my shit that I could fit in there, threw a leg over my T-Sport that I had at the time, and I was like, all right, I'm fucking doing it. And I just came minimalistic because I knew I wasn't going to be able to bring furniture with me. But my homie and I went back up and got the stuff I couldn't take like months later. But I remember I was coming over the Grapevine and I was riding and I was listening to Boy Lloyd Banks and Lil Wayne. And I don't know, there was something about the way the sun was setting and the light and everything. And I was like, I'm on the right track. Like I have what I need in my backpack if I need that. And I have my bike. And I have the money in my pocket and whatever in my checking account. And I'm doing what I want to do. So I'm good.
Here we go.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah.
And what year was this? Was this prior to the pandemic or was this after the pandemic?
It was the end of 2022, I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah, end of 2022. Like May of 2022.
Yeah. And so when you get here, what is your first steps of establishing yourself as an actor? What are your...
Man, I got here, got to my place... that was the thing. I'm leaving out a key detail. I had already shot a short film before I came to LA. I flew down here to do it because my good friend Alberto Acosta and his brother Adrian Acosta, similar thing to what my teacher did. They kind of saw something in me. I had worked with them prior on a small thing. And they're like, this kid's interesting. Like, we kind of want to work with him more. Like, he hasn't done anything, but there's something about him. So they hired me to be a lead in this short film called Haha. And it's about a kid with an insecure laugh, and his girlfriend makes fun of his laugh, and the whole day is with his friend Ronnie, who's played by Juan Wood, and he's just going about the day and talking about how, my girlfriend's like insecure about my laugh, and da-da-da-da-da, and that was the thing. So I had already kind of had this swagger to me because I had done one thing. I was like, I got one credit on my belt. I was the lead of that. Let's see what else I can do, you know? So after that, it was more of just like networking. Had to get a job, obviously, because the money was running out. I think I got a job. I got a job at Whole Foods for like 2 days, and then I just walked out because I was like, I don't want to fucking do this anymore. Like, I was literally trying to be a butcher again. I'm like, wake up. You didn't come down here to do the same thing. And then I ended up working at Starbucks for a little bit, just slanging coffee in the mornings and then having the free time to audition later in the day.
And so coming down, I mean, do you have a mentor at this point? Or are you just trying to you're getting here and you're just hitting it the way you're hitting the pavement?
Yeah, I just hit the pavement. I had the acting coach before, and then I was like, I'm going to get there. I'm just going to start fucking around and like figure it out. And that's what I did. The acting class at Chubbuck was really what kind of grounded me with a tribe of people that all were like-minded, and we could all come together and like, you know, work on each other's things, help each other audition, and then boom, from there, it just...
And so, because you don't have necessarily a mentor kind of guiding you through all this, where are you getting most of your information on how to navigate the space as being an actor? I mean, like, this is really, there is a lot of gatekeeping in this industry, even on the production side. So I can only imagine how difficult it is from an up-and-coming actor who's just getting here. Talk about some of the things that you had to overcome in order to just get yourself out there. Or was it just the steadfast nature of yourself kind of persevered through that?
I think I have a good way of like navigating through. Like, someone could be like, no, you can't do that, and I'll be like, fuck you, watch me. I'm gonna figure it out. And that's kind of what I did. But the guy I was living with at the time, my friend Caesar, we kind of helped each other kind of like get in the game, and he already had done some stuff, so he kind of helped me a lot with that. And I knew, I was like, if I just keep doing what I'm doing, get an Actors Access account, audition, something will happen. And then I found this thing called like agent blasters, where you basically send an automated email out to all these agents, and if they want to represent you, they'll reach back out. And I had done that a couple times. I actually submitted to Jacob Elordi's manager, and he was like, I can't rep you, but keep going. Like, I like what I see, keep going. He's from Australia, so there was no way. I was like, that was a far shot. But hey, more motivation, you know? So I did that, and then finally one of the agents got back to me on there, and he's like, I'd like to represent you. Like, I like what I see. And I was like thinking when I heard that, oh, fuck yeah, I made it. Yeah. I made it. Where's my fucking Oscar at? You know what I mean? But it was like, dude, you're just getting started. Like, chill the fuck out. So that's how that went. But then from there, you learn, you watch YouTube, you ask other people in class, hey, what's it been like for you? Oh. But the guy I mentioned before, Gabe Torres, he was kind of like a mentor in that sense of like what to do and how to do it, you know, and like how my look should be. Because sometimes I'll grow my mustache out and he fucking hates it. He's like, dude, you're young, don't grow it out right now, because now you're in this age gap where you're looking old but you're young. And I'm like, but I like my mustache. And he's like, no. So fighting that inner turmoil. So anybody who, like a guy, you know, around my age, if you're like auditioning and you're like, you don't want to shave your mustache, well, sometimes you kind of have to just bite the bullet and shave or cut your fucking hair, you know, because they're going to typecast you. Yeah. Doesn't mean you need to fall into that, but they're going to typecast you.
Yeah, so. Interesting. And so when you started going on your any auditions, even if they weren't in person, where do you start learning the skills for that? If someone is interested in this, how do you get better at that?
The more you do it, the reps. When I first started auditioning, I was fucking horrible. Like, I had no idea what I was doing. I thought, like, okay, if I know the lines, right, then I'm good, right? But it's a whole nother thing. You're practically shooting like a mini movie. So it took really years to get good at that. No wonder why I didn't book anything off the bat, you know? It's like it takes time. The more you do, I would say the best thing to do is just get the exposure. Go out there, do a student film, fuck around, do that, do another thing, do it free. Then you get that exposure and you're like, okay, I've done this enough times, I've been on set enough times, I understand this more. You're never gonna fully understand it, but understand it more, and then you just keep doing it, you keep doing it.
What were some of the bigger mistakes that you were making when you were first starting out?
I think I was, like I had mentioned, like I was like, I know the lines, so like I'm gonna just do this. And I think I just was kind of being complacent and kind of lazy with things and not understanding the full scope. But there was one thing that I did that was for this movie, I think it was called like Suncoast with Woody Harrelson. And they wanted an improv like take. They were like, just do your best job to play like a skater kid or something. And I went,
and this comes through as an email or
Actors Access breakdown. Okay. No, it was on it was on Backstage, which is another casting thing. I was like, you know what, fuck, I could play. I have a skateboard. I just got one. I was like, I could fucking do this. And I still had braces at the time. I moved here with braces, so it was even harder for me to get work because like you're like fucking brace face and everything. Yeah. So I had did this audition scene where I come in on a skateboard. I literally rode into the tape on a skateboard, like hit the skateboard up, and I'm like scratching my head and I'm talking about some chick's ass that I saw at like pretending I'm at school. It's like a stoner kid, you know. And the casting director really loved it. She was like, hey, are you available for these dates? And I was like, oh my God, it worked.
So is this your first time you booked something?
No, I didn't even book it. So what happened was she was like, oh my God, are you available? I didn't hear back for a week after I had sent that follow-up email. She passed my information along to the extras casting department and was like, put him in as a background guy number 5. And I was like, oh, fuck, dude. But that's the reality. You know what I mean? You got to take those punches and then keep going. So I was like, okay, she saw me. She obviously saw something in me she liked, but it didn't work out, and they hired a local guy for that role. So would
you say that in coming into it, your best friend as an upcoming actor is the casting directors? Is that sort of who you target are you targeting productions? Are you targeting directors? If you want to get into this, who are you targeting?
Oh, I see. I would say if you're like trying to get into the whole like.
Or are you just getting roles, or because I've heard the casting directors are the good people to know.
Yeah, because they're fighting for you. They want you to get the job. Like shout out to Seth Yankel. I forget how to say his last name. Sorry, Seth, but he's the casting director of Bosch, and he's the one I was telling you that I took what he said in that email and I fucking put it up on my wall because I was like, he doesn't have to, like this dude casted The Hangover. He doesn't have to fucking say anything to me, but he saw something. So those are the guys that you want to get on your side because they'll pass your stuff along to the producers and all that, because they can only do so much. They can't go, okay, Zander's our guy. They can be like, Zander, I think is our guy. What do you think, producer number 1 or 2? And then they go, oh yeah, he's too short, or he's no, he's not the guy. So I would say befriending those guys and other actors and other people in your industry who are gonna be thinking of you because they know you as a person, and they're like, I think he could play this guy. I've gotten a lot of work doing that. People just knowing me and how I am and being like, oh, I want to bring you in. I want you to play this guy, And I'm like, okay, yeah, let's do it.
What have you got to a place in your career where you've hit a role where you feel like I really kind of not necessarily made it, but made it? Would you say? Like
in a sense of like feeling accomplished as an artist almost? Yeah, that film I did, Memory Obscura, last summer was something I had kind of creative freedom to approach it how I wanted. Me and the director, F.A. Tunjai, he gave me a lot of creative freedom to kind of bring this character, David Mills, to life. And real quick, the story is like a screenwriter who forgets this like genius idea for the best film of all time in his opinion, and he gets hit by a car and forgets it. So the film follows him trying to remember, and no one is taking him seriously, so he's getting really agitated and upset that no one realizes like, no, this is the next best thing. So with that, after we did that film and all that, there was the final scene. I remember we were shooting, and it's me on the porch, and I come out and I have my crutch and I go to sit down. And in the last scene, there's like a fire truck that goes by, and the film goes from black and white. The whole film's in black and white, and then it translates into color when he remembers the idea. And I had like, he said I could have as many takes as I wanted to get there, but I really was locked in on the first take. And I remember he was like, holy shit, I just want to do it one more time for safety. But after completing that, I felt not a sense of like, okay, I'm good, I don't need to do, I felt like I don't know, I served the story in the way that the character would want, if that makes sense. Because when I approach things, I'm never like, me. I'm like, no, the character. Like, that's more of like my method, if you will. So when I had done that, I was like, yeah, I think I told that fucking story the way I was supposed to, or the way it was supposed to be told.
And that would be the first like real time that you really felt that before.
Yeah, because you feel it in acting class too. Sometimes when you work through a certain scene, you do like a second work or whatever of like Streetcar Named Desire or whatever it is that you're working on, and you go, wow, okay, yeah, that was great. But sometimes my best work, from the opinions of others, has been where I'm like, no, I could do better. And they're like, no, that was really good. And then you're like, fuck, all right, whatever. Like, you're never going to be 100% satisfied. And I think that's the beauty of it. You're never going to be. And you shouldn't. You should always be working to raising the bar, Yeah,
100%. And so then not too long ago, I was on Instagram and saw that you were working on a set of something, and then I look and I'm like, who is this? And then you send me a DM saying, yo, I'm working with Timothée Chalamet. Yeah. Like, can you talk about that experience?
Yeah, I can. I'll kind of like dance around the details I can't say, but it was a commercial thing, and I had auditioned for it. My manager got me the audition, and it was just another thing. Like, a lot of actors, you get an audition, you're like, fuck, all right, well, I'm not gonna get this, but I'm still gonna audition for it. And not that that's a negative mindset. You're just like, you don't want to get too attached. You want to be like Robert De Niro in Heat, like 30 seconds flat, feel the heat around the corner, you're fucking out of there. So I was like, all right, whatever, I'll do it. My buddy Shane helps me do it. I do like 2 takes, very simple scene, just very cut and dry. And then the next day they had sent an email to Ron, and they're like, we want to hire Zander to work with this major celebrity. They didn't even say who it was at first.
I was going to ask, this sheet that you're looking at doesn't tell you the brand, doesn't tell you the name. It's just a generic, this is what we're looking for.
Yeah.
And you have to create your own.
Yeah.
Put it out, and then you find out that there's a name to it.
Yeah, and they had said it was a big name originally, but I was thinking like, who the fuck could it be? Like, I started, is it his? Is it nah? I don't know. But then as it started ramping up and I went in to do the fitting, they were like, oh, it's Chalamet. And I was like, no fucking way, really? And I start looking around, and I'm like looking at all the stuff they got up on the walls, and I'm like, oh, fuck it might be. So flash forward to the day that we're shooting the actual commercial, they put me and this other guy who I made friends with up on this car. And it's like a huge, big set. There's like a fucking camera on a crane, like pointing at us. And they're just like, hey, mate, come up here, get up on the car here, sit here. And he's like, I want you over here. And like, he's like doing the whole thing. I'm like, holy shit, like this is like, I don't even know. It's like the
Entourage.
Yeah, it's like Entourage. It's like the real thing. And I'm like, holy shit. So he's like, get up there, mate. And he's like, yeah, just sit there, put your feet there. Good. And then they're like, okay, yeah, fly him in. And I turn to my right, and I see this dude in this gray sweatsuit walk up, and then the director's like, Timothée, I want you to meet Zander and David, and then he's like, hey, how's it going? And I'm like locking eyes with him. And I'm like, holy shit, this is like top dog right now, because everybody's talking. It was right before the Golden Globes too, so he had that energy, you know.
Yeah,
he
the
was
whole
like,
Marty Supreme thing.
Yeah, the whole Marty was in full effect, and I hadn't seen the movie at the time, so I wasn't as intimidated, but I was still intimidated because it's him. I was like, holy shit. So he's like, yeah, let's get into it. You guys ready? Let's go. And we're like, yeah. So we run the scene, and I have a couple lines, and the other guy has a couple lines, and then he stops the scene, and he's like, can I get some tape on the fence there for my eye line? And I'm like thinking in my head, I'm like, holy fuck, he's just like us, bro. He's just like us. The difference between him and I is obviously, yeah, he's done amazing things, accolades and all that, but he's fucking consistent, and he's been doing it longer, and he doesn't give up. So when I saw him kind of doing that and kind of asking for the eye line and everything, I was like, okay, I'm taking mental notes here. I'm taking notes on his approach and his consistency with that. So we're running the scene, he does it again, and I start kind of like, I wasn't ad-libbing stuff, but I kind of added in like a or a, you know, a certain look to kind of give him more to play off of, because I was there really just for his eye line in a sense. So I was like, all right, cool, I'm going to do this. And then I could tell he kind of liked that, and he was rolling with that, and he was like, you know, like when you're doing a scene, it's you want to
dance,
yeah,
right?
it's a dance, and you want to help the other guy out too. So you got to give them. You don't just want to be a fucking robot and stand there and not give anything. You want to give. You want to go 100% because you don't know. Maybe they won't do another take. So we did that, and I remember they were like, "Cut, okay, we got it. That was beautiful." The guy saying, and I'm like, "Nice." So he flew us off set, the AD or whatever, and I have this high. I'm like, oh my God, like I just worked with fucking Chalamet. Like nobody's going to believe me. Nobody's going to believe me because I can't even really say what I did. And the other guy I worked with, he was like, dude, he's like, we did it, bro. We did it. And I remember that was like a pivotal moment, but I knew there was much more in store to do. And that was only like maybe like 4 months ago.
And so what would you say was your biggest takeaway from working with Timothee, other than the fact that he's consistent? What was your what did you learn most from him in that small interaction?
I think I learned to be present, and I learned that it was really like a foreshadowing, because my manager, he always gasses us up, me, Gabe, and Shane. He's always like, you guys, he'll send us Timothee over, we have a group chat, and he's like, you guys are going to surpass him, da-da-da-da, and he doesn't mean that in a disrespectful way. He means like, you're on his level, just give it time.
Yeah.
So when I was working with him, I went, you may not remember me right now, but one day I'm going to come up to you and we're going to be at like this party, or we're going to be at the Oscars, and I'm going to be like, you remember when we did that thing? And you're going to go, oh my God, that was you? So I didn't isolate myself and go, oh my God, I'm never going to be there with my tail tucked between my legs. I go, just wait. Just wait, bro. You know?
And so would you also say that, you know, because he is arguably one of the biggest, talents right now, that when you're working with someone so high level, do you, because for me, when I've had A-list celebrity types working on there's that sense of like insecurity or like excitement, or like you're like, oh my gosh, that levels, you're saying. What was your takeaway on walking from that experience with Timothee, that you maybe found something within yourself?
It was like a wake-up call, but in the beginning, I was insecure and nervous for a little bit. And I remember my leg was like shaking when I was waiting for them to yell action. And then I went, hey man, you're just doing another thing, just with him. He's human too. But something about looking into his eyes was like, made it easier.
Like calming.
I was like, we're just running a scene right now like we would in acting class, or we're doing an audition, or we're doing a thing. It's not that deep. Serve the story and then go forward. And then walking away, I was like, I can really do this if I try, you know, if I continue to be consistent with what I do. And that goes for everybody. You know, I'm no special outlier. Everybody, if they really want to do it and have that yearning in them to want to do it, you can do it.
And that humbleness to be able to look and grow and do all that. That's what it's all about. Yeah. And so when you get this opportunity, where do you go from there? Is it like that you are trying to do more narrative, film, feature? What do you want to do?
Me personally, I would like to be in a movie, like a very powerful narrative movie, or be a series regular on a show. Like I had mentioned the Bosch thing. Like I had auditioned for that for 2 different characters. And the role that I auditioned for that I thought I was going to get, was I forget the character's name. What was it? But I mean, this is gonna come out like in a few months or so. I think they're shooting it right now. But I was like, he's a mechanic dude. He's got tattoos. He's like kind of edgy. I'm like, dude, this is right up my alley. Like, I got this. Like, I'm gonna fucking bag this. And I remember I had DM'd the casting director Seth, and I was like, hey, I just saw the breakdown for da da da. My manager's gonna submit me, and he was like, yeah, we'll send over the audition or whatever, the sides. And I had went and shot it at my buddy Rennan's house, and I was like, can you help me with this? And we're gonna and do all that, and we did the tape, and I was like, okay, I got this. And then I found out I didn't get it, and I was like, oh, my world was crushed. But that's the thing of like letting go, you know, like don't get so like put all your power into one thing, you know. And when I kind of found a way to, because don't get me wrong, I was a little jaded for a while because it sucks, but you find a way to work through that, and you're like, there's always something coming around. There's always something.
Well, it's almost like you're dating. Like you're not only just going on a date casually, but you're also trying to win over. You're trying to get married on the first date, essentially, which is a lot of pressure for an actor, and especially if you've had no experience with how to deal with that. You know, and like the fear of rejection is so prevalent in a lot of things that we do. But you're really putting it out there. Like you're putting everything you're out there, and then you're being told no. Yeah. How do you? Are there any tools or any things that you can do for young actors who can learn to get over that? What does the inner monologue go if you don't get something that you want?
Something that my teacher, Alex Popovich, would always say is like, if you feel like you want to quit and step away, then do it. Mm-hmm. And what he meant by saying that was like, if you don't believe in yourself, why should I? Mm-hmm. And I'm a big believer in that. Like, I know I'm going to have those moments where it's like peaks and valleys. Like, oh, I didn't get that thing. Or, oh, man, they think I suck, so they don't want to invite me back. But I know it's just a matter of time. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to, I would say the best thing to do is just know that you have that ability, and you're going to persevere, and you're going to keep going forward no matter what they say or they throw at you. Because that specific casting director has invited me back probably like 2 or 3 times. He likes me.
For other
he
projects.
knows me. Yeah, he knows me. He's like, fuck, that Zander guy, can't find a way to fit him in just yet, but hang in there, buddy, is what he told me. And I'm like, okay, if I just get up every morning and I remember my why, I will eventually, something's gonna hit. Mm-hmm. It's just how it is. Mm-hmm. So,
and it's so difficult for acting because like there's so little roles. There's so things aren't being as produced as they used to. You know, there used to be so much TV and so many movies, and now all the studios are kind of consolidating. So now instead of 150 projects a year, there's maybe 30 tentpole projects, and it's like that pool of acting is so difficult. How do you continue moving forward when at times you might feel like there is no opportunity? Is it creating your own stuff? Yeah. Is it how do you go about doing that?
So, for example, me and some of my buddies, Roberto, director buddy of mine, he got me, Renan, Shane, my buddy Gabe, and Hugo, really eccentric, like French guy, to do a short film about like doing a heist. Because he knew, he was like, you know what, he saw that we were all talented, so he's like, why don't we just make our own fucking movie? Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah, why not? So we all got together, did a couple rehearsals, got the script, did the whole thing, and then shot it, and he submitted it to a few film festivals. It got in a couple places. Can't tell you where, because I just was like, at that point my part of it's done, so I'm just like, all right, I did my job. Mm-hmm. But it was fun, and we made something. Mm-hmm. And that kind of gives you that fun spirit of like, even though we're not booking this thing here or on this Netflix show here or whatever, we're still artists, and we still have the permission to make what we want to make and tell our story.
And to get those reps.
Yeah, the reps, which is what my manager always says. He's like, reps. Every time I don't book something, he's like, hey, you didn't book it, but you got a rep.
Exactly.
You got a rep in. I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's interesting how many reps lead to something so amazing. Even just like editing. So many times I've edited stuff on my own, and then I put it out and it gets 10 likes or barely anybody likes it, and it's you could sit there and look at it as I failed at connecting, but then it's like all of a sudden 1,000 hours later, you those reps all accumulate to the point where now I'm dropping things and it's like I'm getting 10,000 views in 4 days, and it's like you're just constantly scaling where things are starting to all click and make sense. And had I not had the ability to just roll past those moments, but also to stick with it, is such a big thing about in this industry that I'm learning. And I can only imagine from an acting point of view, because if you don't have the camera, you don't have the sound stuff, you're kind of stuck waiting for other people to approach you to make stuff. And so I really commend you for wanting this, to sticking with this, and then going out and then doing it. The other thing with other up-and-coming actors is what you keep mentioning is having a core group of other actors. That seems to be a key to, you have the Adam Sandlers where they started young and then they have the same crew that they bring along with them. How do you go about creating, if you're not in an acting school, how do you go about creating a core group of other actors that you guys can to work on?
Yeah, I guess, I mean, if you go to a gym or something like that, any kind of social place, you find other like-minded people. Instagram is a great tool. I mean, that's how we met, you know what I mean? So I would say that I just got very lucky with like where I was at, that like-minded people, but like people come and go sometimes in your life. They're there one day and then they're gone like a year later. So you really, I honestly feel like I just got lucky, man. Like I live with 2 other actors. I never have to worry about how I'm going to shoot an audition. I'm like texting, yo, can you come out to the living room? We need to shoot this vertical or whatever. Okay, yeah, I'll be there in 5 minutes. Like I don't have to stress. But if you don't have that, put yourself in situations where you can. So go out, join a class, do this, do that. Just be social and find a way to recruit people that are like-minded like that. And you'll come to see like, damn, it's better to have this than to have no one, you know?
Or sitting around waiting for the phone to ring. And
don't fucking wait.
Yeah, you can't. No. You absolutely can't. Especially now that with access to cameras and all this high-end gear, it's the entry to get in is a lot lower now. And so it is up to us to be able to do that. The other thing, which is also different with current, from my understanding of acting, is you have to build your brand. I'm listening to even Ethan Hawke's daughter doing in the Stranger Things supplement, and she was talking about how she'd go to auditions, and they would look at how many count you have, how many people you have on your Instagram. And that's seeming to be a big thing right now with actors, that she went into an audition and they said, your following count isn't as high. And it's like, dude, Ethan Hawke's my dad. Uma Thurman's my mom. Yeah. And I'm still having to prove that I have following on Instagram. Yeah. How have you ran into that, or how important is building your Instagram profile when it comes to getting roles? I'm
gonna quote the great Denzel right now. He said, if you don't have it, they can't judge you on it. So for instance, like if I've only got like maybe like 300 or 400 followers, I don't even know, but they're gonna see that and they're gonna go, what the fuck, this guy, he doesn't know anybody, whatever, like whatever. But in a sense it matters. But Denzel was basically saying like, just delete it. Like if you don't have it, then they can't hold you to the wall with that. I understand why they want to cast people like through Instagram kind of things and see the followers, because then they're like, oh, they're almost like putting your worth into that. But it doesn't always tell the full story. Maybe they only have 300 followers, but those 300 people are all people who are really big in the industry, or like they're people you want to know. So you never really know. And I think it's kind of, man, it kind of pisses me off that that's kind of how it goes. Because then there's these influencer people who get roles in movies, and you're like, you're not even a fucking actor. You're just an influencer, and you're here walking the red carpet. You haven't put the blood, sweat, and tears into this like I have, or all the other people who are here like doing the acting classes and doing that. So there's a lot of that happening as well.
So is there a push to start building your audience? Have you ran into all this? How do you?
Yeah, my buddy Renan, he told me when I first worked with him on a scene in class, he was like, you need to start shooting those monologues like the ones that I posted that you saw, and doing this and just building your own brand up and do that. He's like, you don't need to go on TikTok unless you really want to, but just start doing that and you'll see that it'll evolve, and the people that come to you will be because of that, you know? And that's something I struggle with because I'm not as consistent with it. I should be. But had I be more consistent with that, it would definitely be greater, because all those things that I shoot, I just get a little Canon, or I shoot it with my iPhone, and I'm like, okay, boom, 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 boom. And those are used as ammunition for when my manager is submitting me for something. He'll send those clips out. I'm like, yo, send this clip. Oh, they want a sad monologue? Okay, send this one out. And they're like, oh my God, like, they don't have to know that it wasn't from a movie or it wasn't from a TV show. You're just acting. They want to see you act, so fucking act.
And so would you say that that's kind of something that you're going to be working on, or do you care to work on building your Instagram following audience?
I don't care so much about the following. I care more about like the artistic point of view of like, am I putting out good shit? You know, like, am I putting out a monologue that I think is really good that I want to share with other people? If that's the case, then yes, I'll keep pumping it out. But the numbers, if you're so good at something, after a while, people can't deny it. They're just going to, like Steve Martin said, he's like, be so undeniably good, they can't ignore you. Just keep doing it, and they're eventually going to be like, holy shit, like, he's here. That guy, he's the guy, you know? So.
And so what do you want to do? What is your dream role that you would love to do?
I would like to be... I like the career path of like Hoffman, like we were talking about earlier. Like he did a lot of comedic stuff, and then he did also a lot of serious shit. Like I want something like that. I want like a character actor kind of legacy with film, like what Bale does. Ethan Hawke is another good example. Tom Hardy, John Bernthal, like stuff like that. Like I want to be in that same realm, and I know I will get there. Someone needs to give me that big break on a show or something, and then I'll be able to break out and it'll be undeniable, you know. But I just got to be patient with how I approach that.
And so do you ever reach out to other actors who are established in like through DM or anything to ever ask questions, or is it more of like, because our last guest was saying that you know, reaching out to he's an editor, people will reach out to him or he'll reach out to them, and it's kind of help creating mentorships. Have you thought about reaching out, or is that even something that you even...
Yeah, sometimes it depends. If I do that, it's more so with people that I've already kind of met in person, whether it was through class or we worked on a similar project. But I don't see any harm in doing that. The worst they can do is ignore you or say no, so you might as well give it a shot. Like, how are you gonna find that out if you don't try? You know, like when I worked with Ruby Modine, I asked her a bunch of questions. I was like, so how does this go? How was it working with Jeremy Allen White? Like, da-da-da. Just because I wanted to understand and kind of like keep some of that information and carry it with me. And she gave me great advice, you know what I mean? Because like I'm a shorter dude, so she was like, oh, don't even trip. Like he had to stand on an apple box, like da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That's cool to know. Like, okay, there you go. The more you know. You would never know this if someone didn't tell you. But little things like that, and I feel like it's always good to ask. It's never bad. Ask a question, you know. So. And
so, I guess, what are you currently working on that you'd like to plug, or is there anything else that you got going on that you'd like to?
Right now, it's been kind of a slow past couple months for me. Like I've been auditioning a lot for those vertical things. Don't really hear back, and I think the main reason is because they have an algorithm of like guys that they like to hire. They like to hire the 6-foot pretty boy guy. I'm not that. I'm like the gritty character guy who's like, you know, working on a motorcycle, you know, over here. And that's okay, because there's going to be roles for me that come up in major things. So I've just been swinging at those, trying to get something with that
in the vertical space.
Yeah, in the vertical space, just so I can be on set and be working.
Well, that's what everybody's kind of shifting towards.
Yeah.
A lot of these producers I'm talking to who have done major things on Netflix or Peabody winners are all now doing a lot of shifting over to verticals. And you know, and anytime that I've looked into that, it's like Lifetime cheesy acting.
Yeah, it
and
is.
It's like over
Soap
the top.
opera.
Yeah, and it's like as a creator, we have to, you know, continue the dream. We have to pay our bills, but also stay real to who we are as artists. So it's like I would struggle if I was an actor wanting to do reels, because that's just not what are like the verticals.
Yeah.
That's just not what I want to do, right?
Yeah, but
like,
you can make them fun. Like shout out to my girlfriend. She's amazing. She'll help me read sometimes when my other homies, because they work a lot, so they're doing their thing. And we'll make it fun. I'll be like, you know what? Like, I'm probably not going to book this, so let's just have fun, and let's do it more of like an acting exercise to get better. And with those, there was one in particular that I did for a vertical audition, and I just had fun with it. And the casting director found my Instagram, and he DM'd me, another guy, and he was like, I think his name was Brandon. Brandon, yeah. And he goes, dude, I loved your fucking audition. You didn't get the part. I fought for you. I told the producers because it was out of his hand. It went to like China, and they were like, no, we don't want to hire him. Like, I had my mustache at the time, so it was just too much. But he's like, I loved it, and I'm going to consider you in the future for anything that I make. made a friend right there. So you know what I mean? I was like,
Yeah.
okay, can't be too bad.
Yeah, I love that. And so the last thing I kind of wanted to touch upon as
Yeah.
well is how fearful are you of AI? I know a lot of people are, you know, a lot of actors are kind of fearing that they're going to be replaced by
Yeah.
AI. How has that affected you, or has that affected you in any way?
I don't really think it's affected me directly in a way. I remember before with like the whole strikes thing, that was a big issue there. I personally don't think the artists like us will allow it to get to a point to where it is doing harmful things. I think right now it's a tool in something like ChatGPT or whatever, but I don't think it's going to impede in a sense where they're like, well, we don't need Zander anymore for his scenes because we're just going to do an AI version of him. It's like, I don't really think it's going to get to that. And if it does, well, it's kind of out of my control, right? Like, I'm not like a studio head. I'm not in charge of that kind of thing. All I can focus on is being the best actor I can be and making it so they don't want to do AI because I'm so fucking good or the other guy's so good that they're like, holy shit, like, we shouldn't bring in AI for this.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
think that's the right way to approach it. And I definitely, when it first came out, I was definitely fearful. And then I'm under that same impression.
Yeah.
Like, you can't AI a lot of this. And if you can, then shit. Then
Yeah, okay, then
I'll
we're
see
fucked.
you as a butcher. You'll have to teach me how to be a butcher.
Yeah, which is actually a fun job. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I did want to say thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah,
I really
thank you.
appreciate your insight and your ability to just keep fighting forward, and especially in a time where, you know, it isn't like old Hollywood where you can just walk in and do the casting and to want to continue to tread forward on being an actor when you do have AI and all these opportunities seem to be stacked against the upcoming actor.
Yeah.
The fact that you're out there doing it is very commendable, man.
Yeah,
So,
and I wanted to say thank you for having me on, and I also wanted to say thank you to my bosses at Born Free Cycles for allowing me to have a very, very they'll let me leave. Like, I left early today. Like, I'm a service writer and a dispatcher there. They let me leave early today so I could be here. So, and if I have audition, they're like, Alex and Carrie, they're like, get the fuck out of here. Why are you still here? They want me to succeed. And like I said before, you got to have people like that around you.
100%.
So-
Well, thank you so much for coming in, my
Thank
man,
you,
and
bro.
appreciate you.
Appreciate you, man.
Cool. You.
You.